Well, hello. Thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. And we're at SEAPATRICK here, just outside BANBRIDGE. You can see the people making their way down to SEAPATRICK Mill. And of course, this would have been busy enough back in the day. It's no longer, of course, a working mill. And you can see the old building there with the chimney. Now, there's a house across the street here. I don't know what this building was. It looks maybe from the 19th century, but I can't be sure. But I want to take you down to the old graveyard, and I want to show you the old church, but also want to show you the grave of Officer Samuel Boyce. And it says, in loving memory of Samuel Boyce, Banbridge, SIRIC. There's a wee man walking his dog. Hello, sir. How you doing? And so the grave goes on to say, eldest son of J. Boyce, that's James Boyce Esquire, late of Brook Hall, County Londonderry, who was killed by a fall from his horse on the 23rd of June, 1875, and he was only aged 39 years. So Samuel Boyce was a sub-inspector with the Royal Irish Constabulary. That's what the SIRIC stands for. Now, Samuel went to Banbridge on transfer from Enniskillen. And you can see the village there of SEAPATRICK. And he was almost 20 years in the constabulary, and he was a reliable, painstaking and very intelligent officer. And he was 3 years here in Banbridge. So this is the old graveyard. Now, he was extremely popular with the men who were under his charge. And you're going to see an old crypt here, as you can see. And this is the grave here of the officer. Now, it appears that Samuel was riding on the Monday evening, 23rd of June 1875, on his horse from Banbridge to Warringstown. And on reaching a place in the road known as Robinson's Turn, the animal became restive and began to plunge. When on giving it the spur, the stirrup leather broke, throwing the officer heavily on his back onto the road and cutting him on the back of the head. And so death was almost instantaneous, and medically, of course, was sent for, but unfortunately it arrived too late. So indeed, that was the grave of Officer Samuel Boyce. And so you can see the front there of that crypt. Don't know who's buried in here. So the old original church stood just outside Banbridge town, between Banbridge and Lurgan here. And Patrick stopped here to water his horse at the river Ban at Ballykeil Ford. And the Ban River's just across the way there. It's not too far from here. So that looks like a tree behind that bush, but it's actually the old church, the wall of the old church, and that's really the only thing that's left of it. So he established a church at this spot, and there was a church here in 1306. Of course, this isn't the church here. And there was one reportedly destroyed here in 1641, and the exact date of the building, of course, is not known, but it is said to have been built by King William III, who crossed the Ban near here. So that church obviously would have been built in 1690. But the present church here that you're looking at, it was actually built in 1698. But this is all that's left of it, as you can see. But still great to have this. And the minister back then, from 1692 to 1734, was the Reverend Oliver Gardiner. Now, the Reverend James Dixon, he was the rector here from 1745, and he died suddenly in church in a service on the 8th of April 1787. And the Reverend William Starrock was minister here from 1787 to 1797. But this is his son, who was also the minister here, James Trail Starrock. And he was the minister here from 1797 to 1803. So the Reverend James Trail Starrock died in April 1803 after a fall, believe it or believe it not, from his horse as well. So I don't know what it is, but this is a graveyard here and two men buried in it who actually died from a fall from their horses. Yeah, they say it never rains, but it pours. So this position was actually procured for James by none other than Bishop Thomas Percy, who was the Bishop of Dromore. And during the 1798 rebellion by the United Irishmen, Percy helped form a yeomanry corps which kept the neighbourhood quiet. And Bishop Percy, of course, is buried in Dromore Cathedral. Now, this grave here is interesting as well. It says it's actually the Joseph Warren, Warrin, and it says this stone was erected by Humphrey Warren in memory of his son Joseph Warren, who departed this life the 20th of May 1827, aged 18 years. So a good piece of history here, folks. And there you can see the old 1698 church again. So the old church at SEAPATRICK here is actually described as a plain building which held 300 people. And it was so small that the Marquess of Downshire, he gives some land to build a new church in Banbridge, which is Banbridge Cathedral. And the old church was abandoned in 1836 after the new church was built in 1834. And that's the old factory that I showed you earlier, the old mill. SEAPATRICK Mill. So where I'm going to take you now is to the old schoolhouse. This was the old schoolhouse in the village of SEAPATRICK, this white building. But it was converted into a chapel of ease in 1880. So I thought that this actually was the old church, but it's not. In another video I said that this was the old church and then that the Banbridge Cathedral was the newer church, but I didn't realise that there was actually an older church here of 1698 until today. So this is the Chapel of Ease and it was built in 1880. And as I say, it was converted from the school, the old SEAPATRICK school. And of course, King William III crossed the Bann River not too far from here, close to here at Huntly. And I've done a video on that, I've covered that. You can see the old church again. So I'll give you a wee look at this Chapel of Ease. Of course, this is still used today, and it's under the parish church in Banbridge. It's known as SEAPATRICK Parish. And I'm assuming that maybe there was a bell there at one time. At the far end of the church, there's a bigger bell. You can see a small bell up top there, but there's actually a bigger bell at the far end of the church, which obviously I can't show you from here. You can see the small bell there. So fantastic, really enjoyed that today. We were doing a wee bit of outreach today in the Belfast City Mission, an Island Street for Michael, and then I was up this way doing a dummy run for Sunday morning. So thanks for watching and God bless.